So the PlayStation 5 showcase just wrapped up, and most of us who watched, we just wanted to know the price and when it was going to be available, right? They did show some new stuff, not too much. It was more of like a refresher, like just reminding you of the stuff they showed the last time, which I guess was okay. There's a couple new things. Well, one thing in particular that tickled the taint for me. Kind of talk about that in a moment here. But they did announce that it's going to be launching November 12th, but not worldwide. November 12th in, where was it? US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea. If you're in North Korea, it ain't happening, bro. Rest of the world, November 19th. So if you're not one of these places, you got to wait a week, dude. But the price is going to be what was pretty much leaked to begin with. 400 for the digital, 500 for the physical with the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc player. So you got $100 price difference there. Is that going to be big enough for people to just say I'm going fully digital if that's not something you've already embraced? I know a lot of people are fine with that. I'm not here to argue one way or the other. For me, I'm going with the $500 one if I can get my hands on it, right? You know these pre-orders are going to be freaking nuts. So the Xbox Series X and S, it's supposed to go on pre-order in 6 days from the recording of this video, September 22nd. First thing in the morning. I believe a lot of places have said, or sources have said 8 a.m., so, keep an eye on that if you're interested. The PlayStation 5, though, they didn't say when pre-orders were going live during the showcase, but afterwards, through Twitter, they did announce, like, hey, pre-orders start tomorrow, dude. Tomorrow? That quick? I thought it was going to be next week. I thought they were going to, do it right before the Xbox pre-orders, right around there, right? But no, starting tomorrow at select retailers. We don't know which retailers yet. I would imagine, like, Best Buy, Target, Amazon, GameStop. Somebody did tweet at me that GameStop Ireland, if you're out in Ireland, you want to pre-order the PS5, it's already up. You could pre-order through GameStop over there. So I would imagine GameStop will be one of the main ones who sell it or do pre-orders starting tomorrow. So I don't want to go over this whole PlayStation blog post, but just pretty much the information we just talked about. Some of the stuff that they showed during this presentation was Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. It's like, okay, we got to double dip in them games, right? The biggest one for me was Final Fantasy XVI. Now, Final Fantasy XVI, they do have a little bit of information here. I guess we could just, play the little trailer while I talk about it. But I'm really intrigued by this. It just said, like, it's being, like, emulated on PC to show what it would be on the PS5. There was a few games during this presentation that said something like that. Like, exclusive on console for the PS5, and then at the bottom it would say also on PC, and I think this was one of them as well that said that. But this was one game that it said it wasn't being shown run on the PS5. It was being emulated, and that, it was being emulated on PC to show how it would look on the PS5 type of thing. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to get hanged up on that. But this did intrigue me because I love Final Fantasy, and some of the later releases really didn't do it for me. This one, it looks like it's actual fantasy. Now, Final Fantasy, I always enjoyed Final Fantasy games way back in the day, and I loved the fantasy element, and they kind of would sprinkle in a little bit of technology, a little bit of sci-fi action in there. But it was those initial releases that just kind of tickled at that a little bit. And then later releases, it was like they were sci-fi games. They weren't fantasy games anymore, or in that fantasy setting. This, I'm really digging the way it looks. I mean, I know there's going to be people who are like, what are you talking about? This looks stupid. I think it looks cool. I'm really intrigued. I mean, obviously, I got to know more. But the thing with Final Fantasy announcements, look at that Marlboro or whatever the hell they're called. I can't remember their name. I don't remember all the names of these things, but it looks dope. But the thing with Final Fantasy is, like, when they announce these things, like, this was one game during this presentation that didn't say when it was coming out. Like, a lot of the games just gave a broad, like, 2021 type thing, right? This didn't say shit because Final Fantasy games, man, they stay in development forever. This might skip the PS5 and go to the PlayStation 6. You never know. But either way, I'm excited for it. I thought it looked pretty cool, and I really love the fantasy setting where it's more so, look how brutal that looks. Freaking, it has some of that Final Fantasy aesthetics to it with certain creatures and whatnot. Kind of looking, Elder Scrolls-ish or Dark Souls. Or I don't know. It's got that look, more of a fantasy feel to it. and I'm about to sneeze. Oh, the Legacy of the Crystals. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So that was one of the big things for me that was announced. That is going to be exclusive to the PS5, most likely just timed exclusive. They also announced Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which, I mean, the kids are going to go crazy for that. Hogwarts Legacy, so a new Harry Potter game. I don't really care about Harry Potter. And then a new God of War title. They just teased with the Ragnarok thing at the very end after Gordon Ramsay had said, like, he kind of poked fun, like, now you guys know, motherfuckers. Like, stop bugging. We just told you everything you need to know, even though they did forget to mention when pre-orders go live. But like I said, they mentioned it after the fact. So there you go. The other thing that they talked about is for PlayStation Plus members, we have a special new offering, which is kind of cool. I didn't really pay that close attention, I guess, during the presentation, but the PlayStation Plus collection. So PS5 owners with PlayStation Plus will be able to download and play a curated library of PS4 games that define the generation. Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Persona 5, and many more. The PS Plus collection will be an added benefit to existing PS4 benefits that PS Plus members receive. Also launching this November is a slate of new accessories. They announced all the new stuff that's coming out. The controllers, obviously, the Pulse 3D headset, HD camera, which I don't think you're really going to need. Like, I guess you could use it, broadcast yourself along with gameplay moments. All right. Cool. Media remote and DualSense charging station. Yeah, I mean, an extra controller is probably all I'm going to need, but there you go. So that was all the stuff they announced. Launch day titles, Astro's Playroom, pre-installed. That was the rumor for a minute that it was going to be pre-installed on PS5, so you get that for free. Demon Souls coming out that day. Destruction All-Stars coming out that day. $70 for these games, man. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, $50. The Ultimate Edition, $70. Sackboy, got to get that Sackboy, A Big Adventure, $60. So there you go. We already know all the specifications and whatnot. The biggest thing people were like, before this presentation, it was like, okay, the Xbox, like they announced that Series S and it's $300. Nintendo Switch price territory right there. Is PlayStation going to undercut that? Are they going to go balls deep and just say, you know what, we're releasing a $300 console as well? No, they stuck to what we thought, 500 and 400. Both of these consoles are identical. It's not like with the Xbox Series X and S where there's a disparity there. One console is pretty much not the same. They're not the same consoles. They play games with different, they deal with the games differently. You know what I'm trying to say, man. It's been a long freaking day. One's underpowered, the Xbox Series S compared to the Series X. So to get that full next gen, you're going to want to get the Series X. But there's going to be a lot of people who do go for the cheaper version, the Series S, that is a little underpowered compared to the big boy, and they'll be fine with that. They could still play their next gen games. Just, it's going to be if you're not embracing 4K, that kind of thing. And I think that's fine. But yeah, Sony wasn't offering two different consoles like Xbox did. So I don't know why people would think that they would really try to undercut in that regard. I think where they're at right here is fine. I mean, I'm not complaining. $500 is what I'm going to spend. I wish it was less, but you know what? The technology behind it, I get the price point. The games, still got to wait and see what else is going to be announced because that Final Fantasy is going to be a while. And there's not a whole lot right now that's really got me going crazy. Horizon looks cool. The new God of War, we didn't see anything about. So, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to look cool. We'll just have to wait and see. But definitely I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the Xbox as well. But with the exclusives and just the way things go with PlayStation, if I can only get one, it's going to be the PS5. I just got to be honest. I'll get the Xbox as well if I can, or if I have to wait. That's the way I'm going to have to go. But I don't think I'm going to make the sacrifice and do the Xbox Series S. I'll go with the X just so I can have the full experience and not regret buying the cheaper system later. You know what I mean? So, hey guys, really do appreciate you hanging out with me. Appreciate all of you who hanged out during the live stream while we were commenting on the showcase. A lot of fun. Really do appreciate you guys. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye and boom. Bye.